My name is Andrew Dubler, and I'm the owner and founder of Home to Stay. We provide in-home care for seniors and disabled members of the community in southern New Jersey. And I started Home to Stay a little bit over 10 years ago when we had a situation with my mother-in-law who my wife and I were her primary caregivers. We lived close by. We would check on her every day, call her, check on her, telephonically. And one day she didn't answer the phone. And my wife, it was about 9 o'clock at night and we debated going over there. I talked her out of it and I said, I'm sure she's in bed and I'll check on her in the morning. And I showed up in the morning. I had a key. I knocked on the door. She didn't answer. I used the key and I went in and I said, Mom, you there? And she said, what do you want? And I said, not a thing. And I ran out. I called my wife and I said, she's fine. She yelled at me. And went about my day. And about 2 hours later, my wife called again and said, Mom's not answering the phone. And I said, I'll meet you over there. So we both went in. And I learned something very important that day. I learned that you always have to see the person. You just can't take their voice. Mom had fallen down the steps the night before. She was in the same spot for a couple days, I'm guessing, at least overnight. And she was in a delirium where she wasn't making any sense. She thought people were watching her. The light on the cable box was recording her, and people came and took her bed away. And I didn't know what to do. I ran out of the house and I called my mom, who's a nurse, and I was scared to death. And we called 911. Luckily, she agreed to go to the hospital, because if she didn't agree, that would have been a whole nother situation, but she did go. She was in the old Underwood Memorial, which is now in Spearer, for 5 days. From there, she went to Friends Village in Woodstown for her rehab. And at about the 30-day mark, she was walking 300 steps, and they said, good news, she can go home. But she wasn't ready to go home. And my wife and I then became accidental caregivers. And my mother-in-law was always, would wear brooches and sports coats and Talbot sweaters and had that sense of style. And what we noticed was that she had the same sweater on and it had food stains on it. And that was very out of character for Mom. Mom was also incontinent and, had to have adult undergarments. And, we weren't used to that either. My wife and her mother had a very formal relationship. Just as an example, my wife had never seen her mother disrobed. And now she has to change her adult undergarment. It was a really touchy situation. And we thought our lives were over, truly. We didn't know. It was such a depressing, challenging time. We were both very scared. Had a 2-year-old and my wife was pregnant at the time as well. And it was around that time that I read an article on the front page of the Wall Street Journal about this growing need for in-home care, non-medical in-home care for seniors. And it was exactly what we were dealing with at that time. So we investigated that further. We got some care for Mom, and that was the start of Home to Stay.